absolutely right. And Katrina, something else that we learned from the union leadership this week that was sort of giving all of the cast members that were coming back an update and sharing with them what was going on. Another big piece was that it sounds like there's a whole new position being created that's coming online with the attractions cast members, and that is basically queue monitor. So we've seen it at Disney Springs where they've had a yellow shirt brigade, their health and safety squad, all wearing their yellow shirts and going around trying to be as engaging as possible, trying to be as upbeat as possible, and enforce these rules of, hey, let's keep 6 feet apart, and hey, let's keep our mask on, and doing their best to try and keep all of these new temporary policies active. And now it sounds like attraction cast members are going to be utilized in the parks and elsewhere to try and implement that to a much greater degree across the theme parks. Are you looking forward to having yet another round of, or should I say, another form of enforcement when it comes to being told to, hey, keep your 6 feet apart there?
Yes. I was really happy when they made this announcement because, again, Disney is to make it like, it's a place for magic, right? Magical things to happen, happy, like, one of the happiest places on earth. But again, people are going to try to like abuse that and might not use their masks, might try to, get close to people and not really notice it. Again, you see like people go on a vacation brain and they just don't have that. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I know what you mean,
like,
but I even go to the grocery store and people don't follow the rules. So I wish there was somebody, keeping people in line at the grocery store.
I'm glad that they're actually hiring these people because again, you don't want to force someone to be the bad guy if they're not like okay to do it. There's a lot of really timid cast members out there and you can't force them to say, okay, you need to make sure that they stay 6 feet away and put their masks on and make sure those kids have their masks on. There needs to be a bad guy. And I don't want to say that they're going to be bad people, but I'm sure these people that are going to be hired are the ones that are going to try to keep, they're not going to feel bad to tell people, please put your mask back on, please separate to make sure it's 6 feet apart. And I'm glad that they're creating this new job for people.
I haven't brought this up before, but could I tell a quick story? I think about this like almost every time we talk about, Disney enforcing rules. I one time was a bad guest, and there's that picture spot in California Adventure at the end of Hollywoodland where you can go and take that kind of forced perspective photo. Mm-hmm. And they have the kind of barricades up so that you kind of stand at the right angle and everything like that. Well, one time my friend and I thought it would be funny to make me look giant, basically. So I stepped behind those barricades and took a photo. I know, horrible guest, right? But I will say that I was reprimanded in the nicest way I've ever been reprimanded when a cast member walked up to me and said, "Oh, excuse me, sir. I sure hope you're having a nice day. I just wanted to let you know that, we have those barricades there for your safety. And I would just really appreciate it if you just, would stay and take your picture on the other side of the barricade." And it was just like, it was one of those things where it all depends on how you approach it. So, it sounds bad to say like all these people are going to be enforcing rules and stuff, but I know that cast members and Disney can figure out a way to make it actually sound like they're not reprimanding you. They just want you to have a nice day,
It's not going to be bad. Like first I was like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Have a ruler or something and then make sure like, they're like, back up, make sure you're 6 feet away. And then like, be really mean about it. But it's not going to be like Universal Studios when you're getting on Transformers and they're yelling at you to sit down and pull the handlebars down and like get going and like yell at you and stuff. They're going to be super nice about it, but there needs to be people that do it because that there's going to be some of those guests that are just going to be like, oh, well, I'm in the queue. I can take this down and have a breather for a second. And, and then hang out with like other people and like get in other people's way. And, I'm glad that this is happening.
Yep, Disney has definitely, I think in terms of overall awareness, some of the world-class personal service attached to them in terms of stigma and, being sort of that beacon of guest service is something that they've always been known for. And to know that this group of cast members is going to be sort of repurposed in this new position, I think you're absolutely right. I think what's happening here is that rather than escalate this to a security matter right away, I mean, and you immediately create conflict when you do that, right? Because if you're approached by a security officer Here's a much different feeling than if you're approached by, an attractions cast member. You see a security officer coming, you see a badge coming, and you immediately think like, what did I do wrong? What's the matter? And immediately that tension rises of, why am I in trouble? What's going on? And you have that cast member approach, that attractions cast member approach, who knows what they will be dressed as, but I'm sure it'll be something very lovely and very, engaging, to try and provide that guest service burst of, hey, we have these rules, we have these policies. They're private property. They can do whatever they want, right? Okay, so I always like to make sure that we keep that clear. You don't have to visit Disney World. They are asking these things, and I understand if you're somebody that doesn't like the idea of wearing a mask in public in 90-degree heat in humid Florida, completely understand. You don't have to go. It's perfectly up to you as to what you do with your life, but they are requesting that of people, at least temporarily, and so they have sort of an enforcement arm that I think is much more guest service oriented. And I immediately think, guys, if you've ever seen the episode of Roseanne when they go to Disney World, and her and Jackie are walking along in the Magic Kingdom, and Roseanne is throwing popcorn on the ground, and they come to realize that it's like a game, and there's a custodial cast member right behind them, a couple feet away, who's constantly cleaning up as they go. And Roseanne calls out to a guest relations cast member and says, hey, I want to point out that this woman, points to Jackie and says, she's ruining my magical experience. Do your job and bust her. And it was the nicest, sweetest, most engaging guest relations person you could ever see. And he basically said, we have lots of trash receptacles for your refuge. And Roseanne had to look in her dictionary of Roseanne to Disney speak. And she said, how do I get you to go away? Oh, yes. Have a magical day. And off he went. And so I immediately think back to moments like that, where, Disney has always tried to get across that they're different when it comes to taking care of people. They're different when it comes to guest service. They want people to enjoy themselves at the park. And so I think this is just another layer of, yes, while it is an enforcement arm, I think it's there to really be as engaging and as soft as possible, just to try and get everybody to understand that we're all in this together. There are these temporary rules in place. It's okay if you don't like them, but you're here and everybody's abiding by them. So we all need to come together and understand what these policies are. So it's nice to see that the attractions cast members that may not be utilized elsewhere in the resort are going to be repurposed for this position.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.